This episode was produced by Robbie Wojciechowski and the presenter was Alex Lathbridge. If you want a question answered, you can email crowdscience@bbc.co.uk.
This is the BBC World Service, where Victoria Wanhunda is making an emotional return to the country of her birth.
As a young girl, I fled the terror of the Rwandan genocide. 30 years on, I'm going back for the first time. I want to see how Rwanda has changed.
Rwanda, 30 years on. Saturday at 12 GMT. At bbcworldservice.com, the real story.
Boeing is in the spotlight after part of a plane's fuselage came off during an Alaska Airlines flight. Regulators have given Boeing 90 days to come up with a plan to improve safety and its production processes. But how much of the blame should the regulators themselves take?
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Hello, this is the History Hour with me, Max Pearson. This week, personal memories focused on China. We have the story of Pallien, the Romanized version of Chinese that helped China to read and write.
In the Western world, Pallien wasn't expected to be very useful in the beginning. We knew that it would be important.
And a survivor on being forced to be a so-called comfort woman during Japan's occupation in the 1930s and 40s.
I think it's important to let the world know what happened to me and to others. We need to remember history. We need to know what the Japanese invaders did.
Plus, life for a young girl in a re-education camp during China's Cultural Revolution.
My mom hand sew a little shirt for me from my dad's old shirt. They said that when people ask you, tell them you're a boy.
Also, 50 years since the discovery of the Terracotta Army and Wham in China. That's coming up after today's World News.
Hello, I'm Emily Thomas with the BBC News. Provisional results from Senegal's presidential election have given a strong lead to the opposition candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye. His supporters have been celebrating, but Senegal's governing coalition says the vote is certain to go to a second round. James Copnell is in Dakar.
Bassirou Diomaye Faye's supporters cavorted through the streets of Dakar, Ziguinchor and elsewhere when the early results came in on Sunday night. They're convinced their candidate has won a resounding victory with no need for a second round. But the official results are not yet out, so everyone is waiting. So far, Amadou Ba, the candidate of the governing coalition, is waiting too. He hasn't conceded. A win for Bassirou Diomaye Faye would be quite a story. Less than 2 weeks ago, he was still in jail. He's promising radical change for Senegal, and that seems to have been exactly what voters wanted.
The authorities in Russia say more than 90 people are still in hospital following Friday's deadly attack on a concert venue near Moscow. At least 137 people are now known to have been killed when gunmen went on the rampage and set the Crocus City Concert Hall on fire. The militant group Islamic State says it carried out the attack. Aid groups say they witnessed an unimaginable situation in a hospital in Gaza where large open wounds were left untreated. An emergency medical team spent 2 weeks at the European Gaza hospital near Khan Yunis, one of the last medical facilities still functioning. Sebastian Usher reports.
The team was organised by 3 aid groups, including Medical Aid for Palestinians and the International Rescue Committee. An anaesthetist, Dr. Konstantina Ilyakadi, says surgeons performed a number of complex surgeries, but some of their patients subsequently died due to infections and the inability to provide post-operative care. Dr. Hussam Bashir, an orthopaedic surgeon, said hospitals were managing with the bare minimum of resources, sometimes even lacking such basic essentials as gauze.
The British government is expected to link China to cyber attacks on the UK's Electoral Commission that compromised personal data of millions of voters. Britain's Deputy Prime Minister, Oliver Dowden, will address Parliament about the threat and efforts to combat it. China's Foreign Ministry has warned against, as it put it, politicising cybersecurity. Our chief political correspondent is Henry Zeffman.
It happened back in 2021, but for the first time today, it sounds like we're going to get closer to who conducted that cyber attack. And then separately, you're also going to hear more about cyber threats to individual MPs. 3 MPs have been called to a briefing from Parliament's Security Director this afternoon about particular cyber threats that they themselves have faced.
BBC News. The Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, has come under renewed Russian attack. The Air Force said it shot down 2 ballistic missiles, but officials said falling debris landed on several districts, damaging a sports hall and injuring at least 5 people. Overnight, Russian drone attacks also targeted energy infrastructure in the southern regions of Odessa and Mykolaiv. A deadline for Donald Trump to pay the huge fine imposed on him by a judge who found he'd overstated the value of his assets is due to expire today. Last week, his lawyers said he'd been unable to cover the $450 million penalty. Our business correspondent is Katie Silver.
The judge said that the former president's, to quote the judge, complete lack of contrition bordered on pathologicals, and this came after a year-long trial that was judge-only. Now, this huge fine came along with a host of other restrictions, including, for example, Mr. Trump being barred for 3 years from serving in any top roles in any New York company, including parts of his own organisation. There is this possibility that we could see New York seizing his assets, for example, a golf course, 7 Springs, a 212-acre estate. He could lose many of his famous properties.
Police have carried out anti-drug raids in cities across France in an effort to eradicate drug trafficking. The initiative is part of a countrywide campaign dubbed XXL Cleanup. President Macron launched the strategy during a visit to Marseille on Tuesday. Since then, officers have seized 22 kilograms of drugs there. A major Japanese drug maker says 26 people have been hospitalized in a possible link with one of its health supplements. Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals said one of the ingredients under investigation had been sold to 50 firms worldwide. It issued a voluntary recall on Friday for 3 products aimed at lowering cholesterol that contain benikoji, a type of yeast-fermented rice. That was the world news from the BBC.
Hello, this is the History Hour with Max Pearson. This week's witnesses to events from China's past who've appeared on the BBC World Service. Coming up, the dreadful experiences of a Chinese girl forced to work as a so-called comfort woman for occupying Japanese troops. Life in a re-education camp during the Cultural Revolution. Also, it's 50 years since the discovery of the Terracotta Army, and how the pop band Wham conquered China in the 1980s. But we're going to begin with a moment in the development of China's education system. In 1958, a brand new writing system was introduced called Pinyin. It used the Roman alphabet to help simplify Chinese characters into words. The mastermind behind Pinyin was a professor called Zhou Youguang. His work led to a rapid expansion of literacy in China, which in turn has changed the country's fortunes dramatically. Matt Pintus has been going through archive interviews to piece together Zhou's life.
We start in Beijing. The year is 1955, and 49-year-old economics professor Zhou Youguang has been summoned to a gathering of the country's leading intellectual thinkers. On the agenda, creating a new system for writing the Chinese language.
At the end of the conference, the Chinese Language Reform Committee was officially established. I was about to go back to Shanghai to continue teaching, but then the Chinese government asked me to head up the committee.
Zhou is unsure. After all, he's an economics professor, not a linguist. Sure, he's fascinated by linguistics, but to head up such an important team.
I said I was an amateur. I couldn't do the job. But they said, it's a new job. Everybody is an amateur. Everybody urged me to change profession. So I did.
Zhou doesn't realize it at the time, but his decision will be life-changing. Not just for him, but for the whole of China. Zhou Youguang was born in Jiangsu in 1906. Several years of his early life were spent working in the United States for a Chinese bank. He was well regarded and even rubbed shoulders with Albert Einstein. Here he is remembering his time with Einstein, or should I say, vaguely remembering his time with Einstein. from an interview with NPR in 2011.
Unfortunately, I didn't understand a thing Einstein said. I didn't know anything about physics, so our conversation had no actual academic value. One funny thing was that I used to dress smartly because I worked in banking, so I always wore a suit. But Einstein was an academic and didn't care about his clothes. I felt ashamed in front of him because I dressed much better than him.
When the Communist Party took over China in 1949, Joe was still in the US. His feeling of patriotic duty meant he decided to return, along with lots of others.
Many people asked me the same question. They say that you had a quite good life in foreign country. Why did you come back? But they don't understand the situation back then. China and its people had suffered a lot from the Japanese invasion for 8 years during World War II. That's why my generation were all patriotic.
In 1955, Joe and his team started working on Pinyin, and it took 3 years to develop it. By using the 26 letters of the Roman alphabet, Pinyin, which translates as spelled sounds, gave readers that were unfamiliar with Chinese characters a crucial tool to help understand how to pronounce them.
Before Pinyin was developed, a Chinese person's name might have over 20 kinds of spellings. With Pinyin, you only need one, making it more convenient. Some said that Pinyin was like a magic spell. Open sesame. Once the door was open, a lot of magic things could happen.
Pinyin made it easier to translate Chinese into languages which already use the Roman alphabet, like English and Spanish.
In the Western world, Pinyin wasn't expected to be very useful in the beginning. We knew that it would be important because Pinyin played an important role in bridging the cross-cultural communication between China and the West.
It's not a complete coincidence that at a time when China's turning more towards the West, she should be asking us to change the way we spell Chinese names. Partly it's because the Chinese want to put a greater Chinese imprint on everything, but partly too it shows their growing self-confidence.
BBC correspondent John Simpson there. And it massively helped improve the literacy of China's own population. Here's Joe again, this time speaking in English for the 2011 BBC TV documentary series Fry's Planet Word.
But it is one of the important achievements. If we want a modern country, we must have literacy education. That is very important.
Before Pinyin was developed and taught at schools, only 20% of Chinese people could read or write. Now, only a few percent can't. Pinyin also helped with technological advancements, including facilitating the rapid entry of Chinese on computer keyboards. The success of Pinyin protected Zhou from some of the persecution that took place under the leadership of Mao Zedong. In 1966, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution, a decade-long period of political and social chaos used by Mao to reassert his control over the Communist Party.
For China, 1966 has been the most dramatic year, the year of greatest political upheaval since Mao Zedong came to power 17 years ago. Red Guards on the rampage, a widespread purge throughout the Chinese Communist Party, the shattering of the unity of the Chinese leadership. All this in the name of cultural revolution.
Mao attacked all capitalist influences, and many intellectuals were targeted as so-called rightists. In 2008, Zhou told the Guardian newspaper,
"I was not considered a rightist. Very lucky. If I had remained in Shanghai teaching economics, I think I certainly could have been imprisoned for 20 years. A good friend of mine was imprisoned and committed suicide."
But Zhou didn't escape punishment entirely. In 1969, he was labelled as a reactionary academic by the government, and he was sent for so-called re-education. Zhou's friend, the academic Endymion Wilkinson, remembers hearing from Zhou shortly before he was taken away. Joe asked Endymion to send him a copy of the Holy Bible, but he never heard anything back. That wasn't until
suddenly I got a letter from my friend Joyo Guang saying simply, "Dear Endymion, thank you so much for sending the book. I do apologize it's taken me some time to reply." Well, he and all members of his committee were sent to Xinjiang during the Cultural Revolution, where he worked on a farm.
Despite Joe's amazing catalogue of achievements, his job during that time on the farm was to scare away the birds. He told the BBC's Michael Bristow in 2012,
"It was a waste of time and stopped me doing other things."
On returning home, Joe continued to write about language, culture, and contemporary affairs. In the 1980s, he helped oversee the translation into Chinese of the Encyclopedia Britannica, earning himself the nickname Encyclopedia Joe. But despite this, Joe was a relatively unknown figure in his own country. His later life opposition to the Chinese communists meant that a lot of his writing was banned in China, and he remained critical of the ruling Chinese communists well into his 100s, bluntly telling the BBC,
"What are they going to do? Come and take me away?"
They never did, and in 2017, Joyo Guan died aged 111. His legacy, a linguistic creation that's helped billions of Chinese citizens to learn to read, write, and speak their national language.
Archive interviews pieced together by Matt Pintus on the life of the late Professor Zhou Yoguang, the mastermind behind Pinyin. And it's a fascinating thought that shaping a language can shape a country's history. Mark O'Neill is a writer based in Hong Kong whose book, The Man Who Made China a Literate Nation, was published last year, and he joins us now. China wasn't alone in adapting Chinese characters, if you like, from a native language to make it easier to understand.
China was the dominant world power, during the Tang Dynasty, and several countries adopted Chinese characters as their written language, namely Korea, Japan, and Vietnam. And this was the case for several hundred years. But the problem facing these countries was exactly the same problem that was faced by China, which is you've got this very complex and very rich written language, but only a very small number of the population can understand it. Korea, Japan, and Vietnam all came up with solutions to this question. So let's start with Korea. It was King Sejong the Great in 1443. He appointed a group of scholars and he said, come up with a new Korean alphabet, which we will use as well as the characters. So they researched and they came up with something called Hangul, which is a different written form. And from then on, Korea used both. So in the formal documents, government documents, the high level of society, they continue to use Chinese characters. But for ordinary communication, newspapers and so on, they would use Hangul. So these two systems were used right until 1945. So in 1945, Korea was divided between the North and the South, and Kim Il-sung became the leader of North Korea. And he said, we don't need any foreign things. So he abolished all the characters. So from 1945 onwards, North Korea has only used Hangul. Now, in South Korea, they've continued to use both.
So this process of adapting the Chinese characters used throughout the region has been ongoing for different periods of history and in different countries.
Oh, yes. Of course, each country is different and has its own... It has its own language. You see, spoken Korean is different to spoken Chinese, you see. So when the king asked for the scholars to come up with Hangul, they developed an alphabet that precisely mirrored what Korean people said.
And that would have the same effect, as we've just heard, in China, in the sense of broadening literacy throughout the population.
Yes, so this was the great achievement of Dr. Zhou Yaoguang, in that in 1958, when they started to use this system, the literacy rate was about 20%. But today, it's over 90%. So Dr. Zhou said once that thanks to Pinyin, 1 billion people became literate.
And you could therefore argue, I mean, given the impact that China has had on the world in the late 20th century and into the 21st century, and that's driven by economic development, which also has to be driven by literacy, you could argue that Dr. Zhou has had an enormous impact on world history.
As you say, without literacy, Chinese could not study science, medicine, how to make cars, how to make space stations, and so on. I mean, it's critical you have a literate people in order to become a modern state. And the second great achievement of Dr. Zhou is on the internet, because you have to have a platform to enable people to get from their computer onto the internet. And there are several ways of using Chinese to get onto the internet. But one of the most popular is Pinyin. I mean, that's the way I write a Pinyin in my computer, and it shows me the characters, and then I can access the website that I want. So internet has also been essential to China's march to modernization and scientific and manufacturing progress. So that was another great achievement of Pinyin.
Perhaps you should change the name of your book from The Man Who Made China a Literate Nation to The Man Who Changed the World.
Well, I'm inclined to. I mean, he was a very modest man. And when people met him and said, "Oh, Dr. Zhou, you're the father of Pinyin," he would say, "No, I'm the son of Pinyin." I mean, he was modest. But on the last day of his life, he was 111, remember? A man came from America called Cerf, C-E-R-F, and he was one of the founders of the internet. And he was going to visit Dr. Zhou and present him with a plaque to thank him for his contribution in helping Chinese access the internet. And I think now Chinese is the second most used language on the internet. And perhaps in 10 years, Chinese will surpass English as the most used language on the internet. So that is the scale of the achievement.
That's the writer Mark O'Neill in Hong Kong. As you heard in an earlier item, one of the policies pursued by the Communist Party under the Cultural Revolution in the 1960s was re-education. People deemed to be falling short of the party ideals were sent to re-education camps. In 1968, Jin Yuli and her parents were among them. She's been speaking to Jane Wilkinson.
So she saw people fell and then just like never got up. They died because there's such a lack of food. So my mom felt this is her responsibility because you see all these people suffering, but they have no voice. So she felt she had to write a letter. She actually didn't even criticize. She just report what she saw. She really believed the communists will try to help.
But she was wrong. Mao had created a world of fanatical ideology.
So when the letter came back to the college, they were doing a campaign to try to catch all the people who's against the communists. So my mom was in the list.
Mao dreams of remaking China in the communist image. Brutally, he seizes the land he had only yesterday given to the nation's half-billion peasants and forces them into vast rural communes.
Some of these farming communes had another purpose: to re-educate those not thought to be committed to Mao's communist vision. And in 1968, thanks to her letter, Jingyu's mother was to be sent to one of them.
My father was not supposed to go, but he volunteered because he wanted to be with my mother. They give you 2 weeks notice, and they only allowed to bring 2 suitcases and no children.
No children?
No, because they said that the condition there is not for kids. But basically nobody can take me, so then they said, okay, we have to bring our daughter.
But to 6-year-old Jingyu, this was an adventure.
My parents say, oh, we're going to a countryside and condition will be really bad, but you've been growing up in a really nice place in the city and you need some exposed to the hardship. And I was so excited. It's a different life.
3 days later, after taking 2 trains, a truck and a horse-drawn cart, the family arrived at the camp. Jingyu's excitement didn't last.
It's a compound with a watching tower, about 2-story high, I guess. It's all just like one color, concrete. the compound have no trees. Later, I think, why there are no trees? Maybe they were afraid people try to escape and hide.
The family's new home was one room in a hut that they shared with strangers, and mice and snakes.
I remember the wall was kind of like a mud and a straw. There's no glass window, and on the roof, piles of straw. And inside, there's very tiny rooms. And then there's one wood panel on some bricks. It's the bed. I start crying. There is no power, no toilet, and no water, running water. There's no shower, no bath. Yes, so this is not some place for people to live. And they said, sorry, this is our home. You have to be used to it.
The emperor is no more. Instead, there is Mao, China's new father figure. This new religion demands total faith, total obedience. And in return, it promises that miracles will be accomplished.
The second day I was in a camp, and then my parents said, it's not safe to be a girl here, especially because I was the only kid. You know, you hear all these horrible stories, right? Girl being raped and stuff. So you have to be disguised. They cut my hair, and I cannot wear my regular clothes. My mom hand sew a little shirt for me from my dad's old shirt. They said that when people ask you, you tell them you're a boy.
For the next 2 years, Jingyu lived as a boy, sleeping in her parents' bed in the tiny room, lit by a kerosene lamp.
We don't cook. Basically, we don't have anything to cook. Food was ration. So you go like standing in line every meal. The food, I remember every single day was the same. Pumpkin chunks boiled in the salty water. Once a while, we do get some meat. I remember once they said, oh, this lamb is sick, so we have to kill it. So they said, what about we give you a piece of the ear? So I was so happy. I remember years later, I still remember that piece of ear from the lamb.
During the day, Jingyu's parents, the former college professors, worked in the rice fields and herded cows. Their 6-year-old daughter looked after sheep, and she didn't go to school. But there was education, or re-education, for her parents.
Sometimes they have to go study at night, so they take me with them.
For communism is a mixture of faith and magic, a religion whose Bible in China is the little red book of Mao's quotations.
It's basically Mao wrote a lot of articles, and they published these articles in this little, like a dictionary size book with a red cover. Everybody have a copy.
The basic principle of the Cultural Revolution is that armed with Maoism, one can accomplish anything. In order to give Chinese the tools to finish the job, 30 million copies of Mao's works were printed.
So this very dim kerosene lamp, they read Mao's little red book together.
Our country has 700 million people, and the working class is the leading class. Mao Zedong.
The people and the people alone are the motive force in the making of world history. Mao Zedong.
Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. Mao Zedong.
And then people will actually examine their behavior by reading some part and say, oh, I didn't do this right. I should do this. I should follow Mao's advice.
The revolution had taken over every part of Chinese life, and there were tragedies. Some took their own lives.
I saw the body in the morning. Everybody was standing around this pond. It was a small pond. It was very shallow. So I walked over and saw this. And I remember the whole body was naked except there's underwear. It was blue color. It's still stuck in my mind. At the time, a lot of family actually broke up. And even my parents, the communists, they told my father to divorce my mother.
Is there no point at which your family can say, we want to leave?
My mother said that she felt I have a mental problem at the time because I would sit there and look at the sky and then recite the address of our Beijing apartment. Said, when can we go back? And my mom said, we don't know.
After 6 years in 4 different labour camps, the family were allowed to return to Beijing when Jingyu's mother fell seriously ill.
At the time, they were sad, they were angry. Later, I look back, it's like I never felt to be so close to other people. That's the good thing happening in the camp. When you're all in the hardship, you grow closer to each other.
Jinyu Li was speaking to Jane Wilkinson and giving us in the modern world a crystal clear glimpse into the reality of life for so many in China during the Cultural Revolution. We'll have more insights into the history of China when we return in just a moment.
This is the BBC World Service asking if psychedelic drugs could help in the treatment of mental health conditions.
This is very common for people to stop me and say, wait a minute, you're the mushroom person.
Heidi helps run a clinic in Oregon where the use of psilocybin, the active ingredient in so-called magic mushrooms, is legal in therapeutic sessions.
There's a lot of people suffering now without really effective treatments. So there's a major need.
We'll be hearing about the benefits, but also the concerns that widening access to these drugs could have.
Psilocybin in America is what's called a Schedule 1 substance, the most highly restricted category of illegal drugs.
It is very important that people do this with guides and do this in a safe place.
Magic mushrooms and mental health at bbcworldservice.com/people fixing the world or wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
Coming up in part 2 of the History Hour, looking at moments from China's past, it's 50 years since the discovery of the Terracotta Army.
When we actually started digging, we realized there was no edge to the site, no limit. That's when we knew this could be a very big discovery.
And when Wham went to China.
24/7, every hour on the hour, the top thing on the news for a week was Wham. And by the end of that week, they were a household name.
First, a news summary.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The opposition candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye has established a strong lead in the provisional results from Senegal's presidential election. His supporters celebrated, but the country's governing coalition says the vote is certain to go to a second round. Its candidate, the former Prime Minister Amadou Ba, has not conceded. Russian authorities say more than 90 people are still in hospital following Friday's deadly attack on a concert venue near Moscow. At least 137 people were killed. 4 suspects, all Tajiks, were brought to court on Sunday. The Ukrainian Air Force says it shot down 2 Russian ballistic missiles aimed at the capital, Kyiv, but officials said falling debris landed on several districts, injuring at least 5 people. Aid groups say they witnessed an unimaginable situation in a hospital in Gaza where large open wounds were left untreated. The hospital is one of the last medical facilities still functioning in Gaza. The British government is expected to link China to cyber attacks on the UK's Electoral Commission that compromised personal data of millions of voters. The attacks took place in 2021. The influential sister of North Korea's leader says the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has requested a summit with Kim Jong-un. She suggested a meeting would be difficult without Tokyo changing its policies. A deadline expires later today for Donald Trump to pay the huge fine imposed on him by a judge who found he'd overstated the value of his assets. If he fails to pay, the process of seizing his properties can begin. French authorities have carried out anti-drug raids spanning approximately 10 cities across France in an effort to eradicate drug trafficking. The initiative is part of a countrywide campaign. A major Japanese drug maker says that 26 people have been hospitalised in a possible connection with one of its health supplements. BBC News.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
Hello, good morning and welcome to Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is Monday, the 25th day of March, the year 2024, with the time now exactly at 10:48. This is Star Radio UK and this is the Monday edition of the morning show. And let me say good morning to my own producer, Mr. Francis Guy, for the good work being done there, and to all the team who worked behind the scenes over the weekend to bring that good program, the memorial service for the late Hendrik Kobina Vroom Bruce, the father of our apostle. We call him Brother HB. Yes, I say massive good morning to you, Perry, and all the team, and all Bible Lifers. I salute each and every one of you, wherever you are listening to us. We salute you and we say thank you very much for joining us to celebrate the life of our dad, uncle, and all. Okay, and again, let me say a massive good morning to HRH Linda Pallien, who will be joining us on the program this morning. To Mr. Frank Davis, good morning. To Mr. Kojodi, good morning to you. Shamsuddin, good morning. Felix, good morning to you. Anthony Adedeji, Aziz, massive good morning to you. Mr. Olayemi Koike, it was nice chatting with you over the weekend. I hope you are doing very, very well. Yeah, we'll sort it out. Yeah? Okay, massive good morning to you as well. And also let me say good morning to Bishop Adeshina and all your colleagues at the RBS office in Lagos, Nigeria. I salute each and every one of you. Rachel Lagboshodi, good morning. Goshola, good morning to you as well. And to every one of you. Anthony. Yes, Sir Moses all the way in UAE. Massive good morning to you as well, and to every one of you who've tuned in this morning to listen to us. I salute you and I welcome you to the Monday edition of the morning show. For if it is the first time of tuning in to listen to the program or watch us live, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quotes for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update. We'll move from there to have a look at some more stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting, and then we'll continue from there, having a look at some of the details of the stories making the rounds, and then at 11:45 I open the lines for you to have your take on it, and at 12 o'clock exactly I take you to Cyprus, where we'll be having HRH Linda Pallien bringing you Career 101. We continue from thence, and then exactly more at 12:30 we bring curtains down for the end of the program. So in the gist, that's what's going to happen. But wherever you are, well, let me say welcome to the program once again. Well, the program will not be void of music. I'm going to be bringing you some music, carefully selected ones from me. All right, and but if you have a special celebration or anything, just feel free, just get in touch and I will give you a shout out. Or you want a shout out for somebody, feel free and I will see to that as well. And also, well, let me say good morning and a happy birthday to Mama Bruce, Mrs. Mary Bruce. What's your birthday yesterday? It was your big one, 60th birthday. Oh my. Yes. Happy birthday to you, and to any one of you who celebrated your birthdays there. We salute you, and also to congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Tobo on the celebration of their 10th anniversary in marriage. I was saying yesterday that well, you know, if you drive a year without having an accident, you've done very well. But if you are able to drive 10 years without that pertaining to marriage, oh boy, then you've done very well. Well, I had some story that was told. A group of people went to a restaurant to go and eat, and they were friends, so everybody just ordered their own food and all that. So maybe different side of dishes, so not necessarily ordering what their neighbors were having. They had different dishes, so everybody just ordered theirs. Now, whilst they were eating, so when Mr. A was eating his, you could find out that there wasn't salt. One was thinking, with his was too much salt. But, you know, they were all no communication telling you that, look, you know what, my food is full of salt. But they were all eating it as they were. And then, but the one, as they are eating it, somebody is looking at their neighbors and thinking that, I bet you theirs is tasting very nicely. Well, and the person said, so is marriage. So you think that someone's, yours is full of salt, maybe someone's is full of pepper, and someone is full of water, someone is tasteless. So that's it for you. So whatever it is, hold on to what you have, and I bet you, yeah, you're doing good. But let me say good morning to every one of you. Congratulations to them as well. And as many of you who celebrate special days, I salute each and every one of you. This is Star Radio UK. Well, if you don't know who I am, I remain yours sincerely.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Okay. Let me say good morning to Regina Anima, all the way in Ghana as well. Reggie, I hope you are doing very, very well. You seem to be missing in action. We'll try to get back to you as well. Massive good morning. Okay. Now let's crack on. So, the quote for the day says, if you want things to change and get better, you should change and get better first. Michael Jackson, the late Michael Jackson, one of his songs, he said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. The man in the mirror. You want some changes? Then you have to change yourself first, and then you can change. So, tell the man in the mirror to change. And then you change yourself. All right then. So that's just by way of the code for the day. Now let's move on straight to the weather front. Let me tell you what is happening when it comes to the weather. This morning it was a bit sprinkling once we were coming. But how is it really going to be? For London and the southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. It's going to be largely cloudy and dry at first this afternoon. But some bright spells may develop towards the evening, breezy and cooler. Now tonight, it will continue to be mostly dry with a mix of clear spells and areas of cloud towards dawn. Thicker cloud will start to spread in from the south with an odd spot of rain possible as well. Top temperature is going to be 12 degrees, the lowest is going to be 7 degrees. Pollen level is going to be low, UV level low, pollution low. Sunset 18:30 to 23, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:51 hours. Okay, that is by way of the weather forecast, and that takes me straight to the travel updates as well. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated our promise, our born Star Radio UK.
You are listening to Star Radio Morning Show.
So, on the underground, I can tell you assuredly, good service throughout. London Overground, DLR, and London Tramlink are all running a good service. Right down to the major routes in London, and not circular A406 is facing a serious delay. So, if you can avoid it, do your best to do so. All the others, no exceptional delays. The River Bus is running a good service there as well. And that takes us straight to the London cable car until 27th. Wednesday, the 27th of March, the cable car will be closed for planned annual maintenance. So we got Wednesday until Wednesday. So if you want to travel via that route, that will be the first time of going on there, please don't do it. It's out of service. Now, Avanti West Coast has got special service. That is the final segment of the travel update. That's the national rail. Avanti West Coast special service, cross country minor delays. Grand Central minor delays. Great Western Railway minor delays. They've got Greater Anglia, Northern Rail, ScotRail, and South Western Railways also having minor delays. Finally, Transport for Wales has special service. So please check before you leave. That aside, all the others are running a good service. And that is why I will say it once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the roads. Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa will provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Welcome back to the program. This is Star Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let me say good morning to Mr. Joseph Arthur as well. 2 minutes to the top of the hour. It is now time for us to go global trotting. Okay, starting from Nigeria. Binance executive escapes detention amid tax invasion case in Nigeria. How did he escape it? With health salaries, ZANU threatened drastic action after end of 7-day strike. And in Kaduna, 137 students were kidnapped. Not 287. Governor clarifies the number. So then it brings us to statistics. Do we actually know how many children were there, or is it that in the schools or various institutions? Do we actually have correct figures there, or we are still living in that part of world where we don't have any figures, showing us anything, and we just go on assuming. We just look at people and say, well, you know what, we got 200 people. We know what, we got 10,000 people. Is that what is going on? Nigeria seeks joint protection of undersea cables across West Africa. That brought about the shutdown of various how do even I put it? Communication systems in that part of the world. We had internet blackout and all that stuff. But well, they are seeking joint protection of the undersea cables. Now we'll see more about that. NDIC, EFCC moves to curb financial crimes in banking sector. Dangote has spent up to 15 billion naira on food intervention. The question is how? Why? Okay. Now, Minister backs move to ban importation of medical syringes, and we start from Lagos. Boy launches food palliative program, unveils plan, and group allows customers for 25% imported vehicles penalty. Cancellation. Jonathan was not a weak president. He did not want to hurt people. Ex-Minister Abdullahi is saying Obasanjo allows ex-aid for building hospital for community, and cannot deny spending 6 billion on Ramadan feeding. Now still on the question of Lagos special status, Tayo Okunbiyi is also talking about that. Waiting, this your Sanwo-Olu, they do safe. Tayo Okunbiyi asks that question there. Okay, that's in Pidgin. Okay, so we'll be telling you more about all that as the program goes on, so don't you go away. Now, when it comes to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, Malawi declares state of disaster over drought by El Nino. Malawi urgently needs more than $200 million in humanitarian assistance, the president said over the weekend as he declared a state of disaster. And then in Nigeria as well, veteran Nollywood actor Amechi Muanogo dies at 62. It's one of the stories making the rounds. Well, my Zongo man has something that he says. Use the ballot box, use your vote, go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Well, it looks like the bloody nose has been given. Senegal's Paul Basiru Diamaye, Sonko's protege, said to have taken early lead. I'm going to be telling you more about all that. Is there going to be a runoff, and how is it all going to be panning out? We're going to be telling you more about it. Egypt leads in medals as 13th All-African Games come to an end. And Sudan war, RSF rejects proposed humanitarian aid and route to Darfur. Now Senegalese begin voting. That was for yesterday, but it looks like at the moment, well, Osman Sonko's protege is in the lead, as we've said. Okay, moving on to other parts of the world as well. In Ghana, power crisis, making cheap hydro generation available for Ghanaians non-negotiable. The IPGG to the VRA, and then BIGRS supports AMA with road traffic management equipment to reduce crashes. Oh boy. So they need that so that, well, maybe when people are driving towards this, at times they don't see them. So if they have reflectors or then that will help. Why not? Illegal mining threatens water security, peace in Ghana. Neighboring countries are saying. Well, the president said that they were going to crack the whip on that. But what have we seen? You want more? You want to know more? Then you got to stay with me. Apologize for your dereliction of duty to seek justice for 30K South citizens, Franklin Kujo, to the Attorney General. It's one of the stories making the rounds. And Kwesi Ahoy apologizes to Mahama over a controversial comment. Some of the stories making the rounds there. So coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And other stories as well. 4 people are in court as Moscow attacks death toll nears 140. The suspects showing signs of being beaten are charged with terrorism over Friday's concert hall massacre. And Russia attacks suspect dragged into court. I saw them, the way they were even taking them to the court. I bet you, even if you have not done anything, you say, yes, I did it, so that they can just, but they have their hands tied behind them, so scuffed, and then the soldiers put their hands between their cuffed hands and then pull them down. I've been pulling them, and I was like, oh my goodness. Well. Zelensky, he's back as Russia links Ukraine to the concert attack. Now, remember one thing, I don't know whether Putin has not been in the world for a long time. Your enemy's enemy is your friend. You get it? So they may not be, Russia might not be direct, my apologies, Ukraine might not be directly involved in it. But these people could have fled to Ukraine, and Ukraine would have given them a place to hide, because who are they attacking? They're attacking their enemy, hitting their enemy. So that's what's supposed to be happening. But Putin, after all, the information that was coming through was that the U.S. embassy in Russia, gave intel to the Russians that, look, there's a plot like this going on, and they said it's targeting centers or event centers and stuff like that. But they told, oh, come on, to hell with you. You want Ukraine, you want to overcome us, or so you want Ukraine. So why do we have to listen to you? And then boom, it's like what happened in Israel as well, when the Israeli government was being told that, look, there is a plot. They took their eyes off the ball, and then when things like this happen, then they'll try to do all stuff so that, you know what, yeah, we still had our eyes on the ball. What about that? Okay, now EU opens investigation into Apple, Meta, and Google. We'll be hearing more about that. And deadline in Trump's $464 million fraud case hours away. Well, is it going to be that he's going to be forfeiting his properties, or his properties are going to be confiscated to defray the said amount? We're not very sure about all that. It is all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Trump poised for billions as stock market deal passes as well. Those are some of the stories making the rounds. And waiters carrying croissant raised through Paris. What were they doing? I'll be telling you more about all that, so don't you go away. But when it comes to the UK front, cyber attack on voter data to be linked to China. Oh boy. So can we say that when we go to the polls, whatever outcome is a genuine one, or what? Well, on board HMS Diamond, as it faces Houthi attacks. Well, the Houthi attacks goes on, and they are doing their best to, take control of that particular place. That is the Red Sea bit, or Aden bit. So let's see what happens. And Home Office and campaign to deter Home Office ad campaign to deter Vietnamese migrants. Well. And junior doctors in Wales begin 4-day strike. They just only inaugurated or sworn a new First Minister in. Well, he's not going to be having any honeymoon period. They're just going to be cracking down like no man business on him. So what will he do? Now, triple lock for pension to stay if Tories win election. But Labour has said that, you know what? We can also say that we're going to be doing the same. We're going to see to that. So they're taking the wind out of the sails of the Conservatives at all, because it looks like all the monies that they poured, when I say poured in through reduction in taxes and all those bids that they tried, and the budget statement, everything doesn't seem to be working out well for them. So the question is, should an election be called today? Will the Conservatives do any better? You want to know more? This is Star Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Murder arrest at Heathrow after a man hit by a car. And then the perpetrator was trying to flee the country and was apprehended. Listeners, this is Star Radio UK. Now let's take our first music. And this is from Edith Morrison. It says Lion of Judah. This week is Easter week. And then, yeah. So those of the faith, it's a song for you. Enjoy it. And I'll be with you in a moment. Stay tuned.
UK.
Are you ready to turn it up? Broadcasting live online.
Bringing communities together around the world.
This is Starr Radio, UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in the UK.
I need you to stop weeping and focus your eyes on Jesus, the head of David's throne, the giver of light and life. And Jesus is his name. His kingdom goes beyond the whole world. He has won the battle against.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. This is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactly 14 minutes past the top of the hour. And of course, it is the Monday edition of the morning show. As I just say, yes, it's now time for us to go into details with all the stories that is making the rounds, starting from Nigeria. However, exactly at in the next 30 minutes, I'll be opening the lines for you to have your take on it. But before then, if you have any take, you can put it on our Facebook page or YouTube channel, our YouTube page, or any of the platforms that we are broadcasting on. You are able to do that, right? Yes, you are able to do that. So do so, and I promise you one thing for sure: read your comments. Okay. Then at 12 o'clock, we'll have HRH Linda Pallien coming our way with Career 101. So now let's go to Nigeria. Let's start from there. Okay. Now the first story that I want us to look at is the Nigerian authorities detained Binance executive Nadeem Anjarwalla and colleagues over tax evasion allegation. Anjarwalla reportedly escapes detention using a fake passport, raising questions about security measures. Nigeria government initiates criminal proceedings against Binance citizens. In a certain development in Nigeria, ongoing tax evasion case involving Binance, a leading cryptocurrency exchange, a high-ranking executive Nadeem Anjarwalla has reportedly escaped the detention using a fake passport. The revelation adds a dramatic twist to the unfolding legal saga surrounding Binance operation in the country. Anjarwalla, along with his colleagues, were detained in Abuja guest house amid allegations of tax evasion. However, according to local sources, he managed to flee the detention on Friday, allegedly utilizing a counterfeit passport. Now, the escape reportedly occurred during Friday Ramadan prayers, raising concerns about security lapses. The escape follows reports of the Nigerian government launching criminal proceedings against Binance for alleged tax evasion. Now, charges were filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja, signaling a significant escalation in the legal confrontation between the government and the cryptocurrency exchange. Anjarwalla's flight out of Abuja on the Middle East airline has sparked confusion, given that his British passport remained in Nigerian custody. Now, authorities are grappling with how Anjarwalla acquired a Kenyan passport, as he had no other travel documents while in detention. The incident underscores the challenges of enforcing legal measures in cases involving international corporations. The legal battle intensified when Binance refused to comply with a court order mandating access to user data. Now, this refusal led to an extension of the remand period for Anjarwalla and his colleague Tigran Gabarian. The Nigerian government is keen on assessing data related to Nigeria's traders using the Binance platform to bolster its case. The Nigerian government's stringent stance against individuals, organizations involved in financial crimes linked to cryptocurrency exchanges reflects broader concerns about money laundering and terrorist financing. Binance, being a prominent player in the cryptocurrency market, has come under scrutiny, with reports suggesting it was used for laundering nearly $21 billion, according to government sources. Now, invest in stock digital assets. So what do you think that has happened? Now, how come he managed to flee the custody of, is it the FCC? How come? Because the fact that if he has even leave the EFCC, he doesn't need a passport to leave the EFCC. You get it? So somebody might have helped him out. But if he's in custody there, how can he just come out and just walk out? There is this, as some will say, inside job that has led to his escape. Now, how did he get his hand on a Kenyan passport? Well, somebody say that could be a fake one. Even if it's a genuine one, whatever it is, well, he might have acquired that some way, somehow. People buy it, don't they? Though they have his British passport with him. With them back there. But he's out of the country. So, is it an international warrant going to be issued on him so that he will be captured wherever he is? Because somebody will say, well, it's international organization, this is international crime. If it is true that they laundered up to 21 billion, even less than that, if there was money laundering there, then it's a crime that needs to be investigated. But what do you think about all that? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities has ended its 7-day warning strike over withheld salaries, threatening to take drastic action against the government. The association's president, Mohammed Ibrahim, made a declaration at a virtual stakeholders forum organized by the Education Writers Association of Nigeria on Sunday in Lagos, which also had Ibeji Nwokomo, president of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions, that NASU, in attendance. The Joint Action Committee of affected university labor unions had on March 18 directed members to down tools following their 4 months of withheld salaries and non-implementation of the agreement they entered into with the federal government in 2009. In a quote, he said, "We will go back to our various branches to review the outcome of the warning strike, as well as the recent meeting with the federal government, and from there agree on the next line of action. We have given a window to do the needful, and failure to meet their own side of the bargain will be met with a drastic action," he warned. He noted that it was no longer news that the government will make promises only to renege on them, citing the 2009 renegotiation agreement as an instance. He goes further to say, "We have the right to go on strike once we follow the due process. It could be a warning strike. No one can stifle us or stop us from voicing out our plans. We could picket at our working places. We could also report to work without working, and so forth. All are lawful in the labor law. So, nobody can take them away from us. We are not asking for anything outside our rights. We cannot continue this way because, after all, we, too, are human beings. We are also parents with bills to pay and mouths to feed," he explained. He said that union members were paid to use strike as a last resort to drive home their demands, considering the impact it normally had on the students. So the panacea to ending crisis in Nigerian universities, in fact, in the entire sector, is funding and more funding, he stated. He noted that since the struggle by members of the various unions to get government to do the needful, many of them have lost their lives in the last 1.5 years due to lack of funds to access good healthcare. Mohammed also decried the issue of non-autonomy in the university system, adding that the situation was affecting the system's smooth operation. He also urged the government to ensure that the appointment of vice chancellors and principal officers of universities, especially the federal ones, should be based solely on merit rather than through what he describes as godfatherism. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, in line with that, let's move on straight to this story as well. It has been revealed that the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has spent about 15 billion naira on food intervention program with beneficiaries across Nigeria. Now, according to a statement issued on Sunday, the food intervention program, which was launched at Kano on Saturday, is being spearheaded by his foundation, Aliko Dangote Foundation. The intervention will see over 1 million bags of 10 kg bags distributed across the 774 local government areas of the 36 states and federal capital territory in Nigeria. Speaking at the official flag off of the intervention program, Dangote said the initiative is a crucial step towards alleviating the ongoing economic challenges faced by our nation. He also emphasized the importance of compassion and generosity during the holy month of Ramadan, stressing that all stakeholders must play a part in supporting the government to alleviate hunger in the land, saying our distribution of rice symbolizes a commitment to upholding the values of compassion and solidarity, which are at the core of our humanity. The food intervention program will run from March to early April 2024. Now, Dangote added the modalities of the program involve collaboration with state and local government and local community partners to ensure effective delivery of the rice to the most vulnerable across the country, regardless of state, tribe, gender, religion, politics, or other attributes. And that's a good one there. I mean, a philanthropist doing what he has to do. He doesn't say that I've made so much money and I'm keeping it so that when there's a next election I can use that. Somebody say, well, because he reigns in the billions, so that's why he's doing so. But giving is living. Let me take the opportunity to say good morning to our own money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. Now his company GIL's Giving is Living. So he gives that. That's why you have to contact him when you need any help when it comes to your accounting, because he's always making sure that he gives you something out of that. You know, you get something out of that. All right then. So let's move on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds there. Now, pertaining to the escape of the Binance boss, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation and the IC and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have fostered a collaboration to curb financial crimes in the banking sector. The corporation said in a statement that it remains committed to ensuring that those who contribute to the failure of banks are properly investigated and prosecuted. Bello Hassan, Managing Director and Chief Executive of the NDIC, made the remarks during a courtesy visit to the NDIC management to the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, at the EFCC headquarters in Abuja. Hassan explained that the NDIC plays a critical role in combating financial crimes within the banking sector through its mandate, which includes bank supervision and liquidation of licensed banks. The ultimate objective, he added, is to protect depositors' funds and ensure the stability of the financial system. He commended the EFCC for its relentless efforts in the fight against corruption and financial crimes, emphasizing the indispensable role it plays as a key member of the task force in the implementation of the Failed Bank Act, which is chaired by the NDIC. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. A couple of stories, and I bring the update from Nigeria to a close. Now, the news have gone viral pertaining to the release or by the security agencies in Nigeria of these students who were kidnapped. Now, in recent interview, Governor Uba Sani of the Kaduna State clarified the number of school children abducted from the LEA Primary School and Government Secondary School in Kuriga, Chikon local government area. Contrary to initial reports of 287 missing students, Governor Sani confirmed that it was 137 children who were abducted. The governor also delivered positive news, stating that the military, working alongside local authorities from Zamfara State, successfully rescued all 137 kidnapped students. Now, this comes after a 4-week ordeal that sparked national outrage. The defense headquarters corroborated the governor's statement confirming the rescue of 137 students. However, the rescue was not without tragedy. Governor Sani expressed his condolences to the family of a teacher who was abducted alongside the student, but unfortunately passed away due to complications while in captivity. While celebrating the safe return of the school children, Governor Sani acknowledged the loss of the dedicated educator. Well, listeners, this is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now the final story from Nigeria, and then we bring the updates from Nigeria to a close. Now, Nigeria has called for a coordinated and multilateral approach by the West Africa region to protect shared telecommunication infrastructure and diversify connectivity to ensure uninterruptible connections. Now, this followed the recent undersea cable cuts that disrupted connectivity in many countries in the region. The executive vice chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Dr. Aminu Maida, made a submission in the statement delivered at the 21st West African Telecommunications Regulatory Assembly, that's WATRA, annual general meeting, which was held in Freetown, Sierra Leone from the 19th to the 22nd of March. According to the statement from the Commission, Maida, whose message was delivered at the WATRA AGM by the Deputy Director Public Affairs of the Commission, Nena Uka, stated that the recent submarine cable cuts that resulted in nationwide outages on multiple networks in 12 African countries has raised the urgent need for the sub-region to establish a mechanism to protect itself from damage to submarine infrastructure and its attendant impact on the sub-region. The MIDA referred to a report by the Cloudflare on IT service and IT service management firm, which indicates that about 6 countries, including 4 West African countries, were still suffering from the outages caused by the submarine cable cuts to buttress the core. Highlighting the benefits of a secure telecom infrastructure across the region, the NCC boss said securing telecom infrastructure is paramount for fostering foreign direct investment and enhancing investor confidence in the West African sub-region. The reliability and resilience of telecommunication networks are crucial factors that investor considers when evaluating regional opportunities. By ensuring the security of these vital assets, we can attract more investment, spur economic growth, and enhance our competitiveness on the global stage. Secure telecoms infrastructure not only facilitates efficient communication and connectivity, but also signals a commitment to safeguarding critical assets essential for business operations. This assurance can significantly boost investor confidence and create a conducive environment for sustainable economic development. According to him, the impact of the events like cable cuts highlight the need for coordinated multilateral approach to protecting shared infrastructure across our member nations. MIDA therefore proposed the urgent need to set up framework for joint monitoring, risk mitigation, and emergency response procedure for the submarine cables that passes through the sub-region. Well. It's a clarion call, and it's something that they urgently have to set up and see to address. But listeners, this is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Malawi urgently needs more than $200 million in humanitarian assistance, the president said, as he declared a state of a disaster in most of the country's province over drought. Malawi has declared a state of disaster in 23 out of the country's 28 districts. Now, President Lazarus Chakwera, announced on Saturday that 2 million farming households have been affected by the El Nino-induced dry spells and need food. The announcement by President Chakwera coincided with a food distribution exercise in Nino districts, southern Malawi, by the World Food Program together with the Department of Disaster Management Affairs. I have a big farmland measuring more than 1.5 acres. Together with the children I stay with, we farm on this land. With good rains, I harvest 20 to 50 kgs bags of maize. Is that it? Now this year, to be honest, I've harvested nothing. 8 beneficiary, Mans Kanjala said. In another quote, he said, we planted in November and the maize germinated because we had rains. In December, we had fewer rains. There was too much sun that scorched the whole field and crops. Now, Brighton Mofinga, the disaster risk management officer for Neno district, anticipates more humanitarian assistance following the presidential announcement. The food, in a quote, you have seen we are distributing today is for the season that we are in, but there is an additional type of hunger that we are facing because of the dry spell we have experienced. For Neno, it has been hit hard, so the president's declaration means that people are going to come in now, lifting the hand of government where it wasn't necessarily able to do it. People are going to come because of the declaration. The presidential initiative to stop hunger calls out to locals and the international community. Around 600,000 metric tons of food aid are needed. So when you have a place like Nigeria where the farmlands are good, you have Ghana, we have all those places, and people are not being allowed to go about their duties to see to this, then actually we find ourselves in dire straits. But what do you think about all that? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, for Senegal, the much awaited presidential election has come. But the question is, who is in the lead? Well, information that we've gathered about 4 hours ago shows that in Dakar, supporters of presidential candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye didn't wait for official results to start celebrating late Sunday. In the hundreds of thousands, they flooded the streets of the capital, relying only on early trains. Now, crowds backing the proteges of Osman Sonko gathered here at the headquarters of the Diomaye Presidential Coalition. We are happy with the work that had been undertaken by the entire Diomaye President Coalition. That this victory is a victory of the people of Senegal. The people who have decided today to take their fate into their own hands, a voter said. I can now see that Senegal is still a democratic country, a country governed by the rule of law. Tonight, it is not Diomaye's win, it is Senegal's win. It is our victory. Another voter carrying a Senegalese flag said. It is official. If official results are expected within a week, some of the 17 candidates vying for the presidency have already considered their defeat and congratulated Diomaye Faye. Some 7.3 million Senegalese were registered to vote. Vote counting began in the early evening in a tense atmosphere in some parts of the country. In St. Louis, a major fishing town, a crowd booed and threw stones at a government delegation that entered the polling station after the polls closed. If official results are expected within a week, some of the 117 candidates vying for the candidacy, such as the country's only female candidate, considered their defeat and congratulated Diomaye Faye. The supporters of ruling party candidate Amadou Boye hope and expect a runoff. By himself, a former prime minister and economy minister said he will give his assessment of the results of the ballot box by midday today. Nafissatou Diallo, a member of the party of former President Abdoulaye Wade, called on Ba to congratulate Diomaye. Now, I'm here to call on Amadou Ba to call the president-elect the president elected by the people of Senegal with an overwhelming majority in the first round, a call on Barr to stand by Senegal noble republican tradition. It is irreversible. Bassirou Diomaye has been elected president of the republic. At the headquarters of the Diomaye President Coalition and elsewhere in the country, such as Ziguinchor, a stronghold of the opposition, supporters of the candidate converge to celebrate what they believe is their victory. According to them, the preliminary trends cannot be disputed, and they believe a runoff election is simply unconceivable. At the forefront of concerns for many Senegalese voters in the economy is the economy, which have been squeezed by high food and energy prices, partially driven by the war in Ukraine. Almost a third of Senegal's youth are unemployed. According to the independent researcher Afrobarometer, driving thousands to risk their lives on dangerous journey in search of jobs in the West. This is when we have people crossing the Mediterranean and all sorts, and we know what is happening. But well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. This is the Monday edition of the morning show. Another story that has just come through. Chadian electoral authorities have cleared 10 candidates for this year's long-awaited presidential election. They include nomination of interim president Mahamat Idris Deby and the country's recently appointed Prime Minister Success Masra. On Sunday, the Central African Nations Constitutional Council announced the list, which showed that outspoken opposition figures Nassau Ibrahim Negou Kassami and Rakesh Ahmad Saleh will be barred from contesting the election. The application had been rejected because they included irregularities, the council's statement said. It is the first time in Chad's history that a president and a prime minister will face each other in a presidential poll, whose first round of voting will take place on the 6th of May, with a provisional second round scheduled to take place in June 22. The elections are part of a transition back to democracy from the rule of Chad's military government. Provisional results are expected on July 7. It's interesting. Mahamat Deby, he's a soldier, he's a soldier, but he's saying that he's also vying for it, and his prime minister is also vying for it, so he's going to be facing off. And they say that other people, they don't qualify. There have been some anomalies. What anomalies? Interesting. Well. This is Starr Radio UK, and this is the Monday edition of the morning show. Now, in Ghana, the CEO of Imani Africa, Franklin Kojo, has called on Attorney General and ministers for Justice Godfrey Yeboah-Dame to render an unqualified apology to the 30,000 citizens of Starr for what he described as a dereliction of duty to seek justice for them. In a Facebook post, Mr. Kojo called on the Attorney General to apologize to Starr citizens for what he termed as a dereliction of duty in seeking justice for the 30,000 citizens. He further charged the Justice Minister, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, to be sorry for defending the state against disenfranchised Starr citizens and offering no defined advice to the presidency on resolving the debacle. On behalf of the disenfranchised people of Starr, I call on the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to render an unqualified apology for his dereliction of duty in seeking justice for the 30,000 citizens of Starr that were callously prevented from the last parliamentary elections. Indeed, he should be sorry for defending the state against disenfranchised Starr citizens and offering no dignified advice to the presidency on resolving the debacle. Now, the question is, Mr. Franklin Kojo further asserted that should the Attorney General fail to apologize to the citizens of Starr and take honorable steps to redeem the image of the Akufo-Addo-led administration, will render his government illiberal. Now, failing to render an apology and taking honorable steps towards redeeming his government's disturbing image as carefree and wicked hatred for South citizens will render his legacy as one that promoted the greatest illiberalism and disunity. Eligible voters within the newly carved district, namely Central Kofi, Akpafo, Lekpe, and Lolobi, earning the subsequent Starr in the 2020 general election, only participated in the presidential elections and not the parliamentary elections due to the non-existence of a constituency. The residents took the matter to court, demanding the enforcement of their fundamental human right to vote. After a whole High Court ruling, an interim injunction was placed restraining the Electoral Commission from gazetting the New Patriotic Party John Peter Mau as the member of the Parliament elect for Hohoi. The Attorney General Godfrey Dame, who at the time was the Deputy Attorney General, led the state to subsequently file a motion at the Supreme Court to challenge the injunction, which he succeeded. Now, the question is, so if this group or these people who live in the Starr area decide that we think that we are not being treated fairly and we think we are being marginalized and therefore we want out, like other people in various countries are saying, now we think that we are being marginalized, so we want out, will it come crashing down on them? Will it be wrong for them to say that? So you get it. That is a problem that we have. We try to use the law, but when he's saying, they say, this is the rule of law, it's a democracy, we all have to stick to it. But when you can see blatantly that people are using that same law to also squeeze your neck and take your rights from you, then what do? I don't advocate for people to break away because, as we say, in unity there is strength. But when people are seeing blatantly, glaringly, that their rights are being imputed or their rights are being trampled or their rights is actually being siphoned out of them, then what do you think they should do? Desperate situation calls for desperate measures. Well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. If you come from that area or you think that, well, we're not being treated fairly, let me know. If you want to join us, you want to call in, it's 0208-133-2257. Now, if you want to text or WhatsApp, it's 0753-966-1744. Our X handle is at Starr Radio UK and email address is info@Starr Radio UK. You can also Skype at us. Yes, our Skype is working. Just go look for Starr Radio UK 1 and then you'll find us. You Skype. You want your voice only or you want me to see your beautiful face? Why not? I will acknowledge you. Now, Independent Power Generators has reiterated that the call for the Volta River Authority to prioritize the Ghanaian taxpayer and make available hydro generation for them rather than exporting to neighboring countries. Now, according to IPGG, the nation is currently in a power crisis. Therefore, the VRA must reduce the export of cheap hydro generation to neighboring countries whose citizens are paying much less for power. If that is true, then it's unthinkable what is happening. Well, they will say that they have an agreement with these countries to export power to them, and that's what they are doing so. But looking at the other means of generating power, that is the batch and all those generators and plants and all that stuff, it is of the view that it's more expensive than using water. But you know what they are doing? They are exporting the water to the neighboring countries. But let's take an example of Burkina Faso. We have an agreement with them because of the Volta River, okay, that flows from their part into Ghana. So if it happens that maybe we don't give them a good deal when it comes to their power supply, and they decide, you know what, let us also build a dam. What impact is it going to have on the Akosombo Dam? But it's not only the Akosombo Dam that we have. We have another dam, the Bui Dam. Okay, so why can't we use them to generate power and serve our own people so that they can buy it at a cheaper price? Okay, affordable. But rather, we're exporting it and the people are getting it cheaper. But well, it's quite an interesting one. What do you think about all that? It's all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station. This is London and Star Radio UK. I remain yours sincerely, your one and only Archie. Now we've got about 13 minutes to bring the first part of the program to close, and then we can take you straight to where? Cyprus. With gang violence rocking Haiti, many of those who left the Caribbean nation feel helpless when they call terrified family members who can't leave because airports are closed and crossing to the United States by sea is too risky. Before, you could say things were okay. I knew things weren't okay, but I had faith, hope that it will change one day. We lost faith. There is no path forward because of the gangs. Petite Ferrer, a 36-year-old, sat at the table of the restaurant she runs in downtown Tijuana, with her husband, who also fled Haiti. The escalating unrest has reverberated among the millions who left Haiti for Brazil, Chile, Mexico, and the United States as their hopes of returning home dim. Decisions lie ahead on how the U.S. responds to turmoil in the country, long plagued by political upheaval and widespread poverty and natural disaster. It's a sad one there with everything that is happening. But somebody will say, how for do? Well, Russia has charged 4 men it says attacked a Moscow concert hall and killed at least 137 people. All 4 appear to have been beaten and one was brought to court in a wheelchair. They were charged with committing an act of terrorism. The Islamic State group, or IS, said it carried out a Friday outrage at Crocus City Hall and posted video evidence. Now, Russia officially have claimed without evidence Ukrainian involvement, and Kyiv says their claim is absurd. The graphic video released by IS shows attackers firing on the crowd inside the concert hall and has been verified as genuine by some news networks, especially this time in the UK by the BBC. However, no Russian official has acknowledged the claim, and Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said in a news conference on Monday that it was inappropriate to comment on it until investigation had been completed. He also said that because of this tense international situation, there was little collaboration between countries on fighting terrorism. But the U.S. advised them, gave them the signal that this is what is happening, and yet it fell on deaf ears, and this resulted to that. Now, France has raised its terror alert to the highest level, with President Macron saying on Monday that Islamic State group behind the Moscow attack had also recently been targeting France. Now, rescuers are continuing to search the rubble of the concert hall for victims, and regional officials said the operation would carry on through Tuesday afternoon. Now, you can see that these people have been properly beaten. With the picture that I have before me, oh boy. Now, the 4 suspects were named by Russian authorities as Dalmazin Mazuriev, Sadakrami, Mordali, Rajazoda, Shamsidin, Fariduni, Mohammed Sobir Faizov. Now, video shows 3 of them being matched, bent double by Max Police into Basmani District Court in Russia's capital. All appear to have been beaten. Videos of brutal interrogation sessions were apparently leaked by Russian security forces, and reports suggest at least one had suffered electric shocks. As about the alleged torture, Mr. Peskov refused to comment. But it's obvious looking at their faces and everything that had gone on there. Now, Medvedev also appeared to have a torn plastic bag wrapped around his neck. Why is he bleeding or what? The face of the man identified as Frodoni was badly swollen, while the man named as Face Off appeared to lose consciousness as he was brought into court in a wheelchair wearing a thin hospital gown. He appeared to have an eye missing, according to some news network. All were held in a glass paneled booth and guarded by Max police during their time in court. I bet you don't want to know. Well. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, so is it true? Did they do it? Well, they have evidence and stuff like that. But how is all going to be panning up? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Trump's deadline to pay $464 million bond in fraud case just hours away. Now, Donald Trump has just a few hours left to prevent the seizure of his assets in a business fraud case that threatens his fabled property empire. The deadline for him to pay $464 million, a penalty for inflating his net worth, is due to expire on Monday. If he fails to either secure a bond or delay the process in court, the authorities in New York can freeze his bank account or target his properties. A separate legal threat to the former president also takes shape later. He may be given a date for his first criminal trial at a hearing in New York, in the so-called hush money case involving outdoor film star Stormy Daniels. Mr. Trump is expected to attend in person to hear his lawyers argue the case should be dismissed due to the recent disclosure of thousands of documents about a key witness. In the fraud case, he may yet receive a lifeline from a New York appeal court, which is considering his application for stay on the judgment. Now, last week, his lawyer said he had been unable to cover the penalty despite approaching numerous financial companies to provide a bond. To secure a bond, an individual has to demonstrate to the company providing the guarantee that they have enough liquidity, usually in the form of cash or stocks. If Mr. Trump secured a bond on Monday, it will protect his assets while he continues his appeal. He could also yet find the money through other means. On Friday, he claimed on social media that he possessed almost $500 million in cash. In New York, a New York judge ordered him to pay the penalty for falsely inflating his assets to secure better loans. His sons were also ordered to pay financial penalties. New York Attorney General Letitia James gave a 30-day grace period from the ruling to give Mr. Trump time to find the money. That expires on the 25th of March. That's today. Ms. James has said she is prepared to take Mr. Trump's assets if he does not pay on time. You know what he's going to be saying on that. But well, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. All right. One final story, and then we bring the first part of the program to a close, and this time round from the Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden. The UK government is expected to link cyber attacks which access personal details of millions of voters to China. The attacks on the Electoral Commission took place in August 2021 but were only revealed last year. Now, several MPs and peers have been critical of Beijing are thought to have also been targeted in cyber attacks. The Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden will address Parliament today about the threat. The BBC understands that the Western nations will set out similar concerns, acknowledging the attacks last August. The Electoral Commission said unspecified hostile actors had gained access to the copies of the electoral register and broken into the emails and control system. He added that it had neither had any impact on any elections nor anyone's registration status. It's now thought that Mr. Dowden will suggest those behind the attack had links to Beijing, as well as laying out how the UK will respond to what it deems a wider threat. Now, publicly identifying the attackers lays the groundwork for potential legal and political action, such as sanctions or diplomatic protests. Now, linking the attackers to China, a fellow member of the UN Security Council, will be an escalation in the diplomatic tension between the two countries. Now, this marks a major change from just a few years ago when British leaders aimed to usher in a golden age with China. The Prime Minister was David Cameron, who is now the Foreign Secretary after taking a seat in the House of Lords last year. China's Foreign Minister, as a ministry spokesperson, Lin Jian, said the government cracked down and punished all types of malicious cyber attacks. Now, he called on all parties to stop spreading false information and take a responsible attitude to jointly maintain peace and security in the cyber space. Who do you believe? Your data. We thought that this is the part of the world where data protection is paramount, but that's not what we see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I bring the first part of the program to close. I'm going to take some musical break, and once we come back, I'll take you to Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is. Well, the Senegalese have decided to use the ballot box, and well, the Chinese and others are now trying to hack the system to see how they're going to be wrestling or whatever when it comes to the UK elections. Well, the US is going to have an election as well. I remember Trump back in the day saying the Russians should hack the systems there. Well, is that what gave him the momentum to win that election then? And now his friendship with the Russian President Vladimir. What do you think is happening? Well, lots more going to be coming your way as the days and the months. The days, the weeks, and the months unfold. But now, enjoy this music from the Zongo Man. It says, use the ballot box.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. One man, one vote. It is your right. If you have a vote, you've got power. So every man have a vote. Every woman have a vote. Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling. Give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Take no lies, take no bribe, take no promises, take no stain, take no sound bites, no slogan shouting. Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Register to vote so that you can vote. Vote! Vote for no wolves to care for sheep. Vote! Vote for people who care for you. Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go
This is Starr Radio UK.
and give them a bloody nose.
101. And let me say, Linda, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well. And you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Great. What hairdo have you done today? And what is the name? Well, we learned from you. I might try to do something like that, with this my hair.
Is it atekwa they call it? Yeah, what they do really.
Tekua.
Yeah. Like,
You see, she's lost.
some of it.
Okay. Nice to have you once again. Yes. So, what are we looking at today?
Today we're looking at leadership and followership.
Leadership and followership.
In terms of career.
Okay.
And it's very topical because you've been discussing on the show whether certain countries that you should be a vegetarian because the West says you should be a vegetarian.
Interesting. Leadership and followership when it comes to career. Now, interestingly, let me ask you one question. Can everybody be a leader?
That is exactly what we're exploring today. Should everybody be a leader?
Should.
Can they? Yes, you can. Should you? Is a totally different question.
Okay. Interesting. Listeners, just stay by. Don't you go away. You want to know, by the end of the program, be answering the question or get the answer for that question, whether you, listening to us, can be a leader. And would you be a good one? Starr Radio UK. Over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. So this discussion has come about because it's becoming increasingly popular for everyone to be a leader, and when I talk about leadership, I'm including influencer, being an influencer. It's been trending for the last 10 years since we had the internet. Everybody wants to be the person that is this super thought leader, and we've normalized following. Before the internet, like in the last 20 years, when we talked about followers and disciples, we were talking about cults and Christianity and this, the likes of Jesus and Socrates, people that were rallied together behind an ideology. Now everyone has an account, and your self-worth and your how much you think you're worth in terms of the value, how much you're paid, is correlated to how many followers you have or who you're following. We've normalized this thing, and the question is it good? Is it good for us? Does everybody have to? And if everybody's leading, who's following?
Everybody will be dishing out the instructions. Nobody will be doing it.
In the workspace, that there is some sort of hierarchy, and it brings order so that you know where the chain of command is, who to go to, who to escalate things to. But in a world where everyone wants to have their own thing, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, everybody wants to be a leader, too many people are fighting for supervisory positions at the moment. I remember I was working within a company where even though everyone was doing the same job, on different days, a different person will get allocated to be a leader, supervisor for the day. And the sort of ego that went with that.
Ooh, I'm the leader today. You better listen to me or else.
Everybody gets the same salary, but because you're the supervisor for today, everyone else is beneath you. You know, and the rise of this has a multitude of effects on our careers. You know, HR professionals are now having to modify job titles to accommodate to this, you know. So even when someone's in an assistant position, they're now the office manager, and no offense to office managers. But sometimes we're modifying this to account for self-esteem.
Okay.
Job titles. And again, it could be positive for them, but at the same time, then it creates this disparity of salaries and wages and being proportionate to what the value of the work that you're putting in. So whereas it's good for a lot of people to strive to be leaders, should everybody be a leader? I think it's a question that we need to answer for ourselves. What is the main goal of being a leader? A leader's job is to inspire others, not to work for people, but to inspire other people to achieve success beyond what they thought was. So you can start with asking yourself, is that something I'm willing to give up? The food on my plate for other people, my time, my energy, my money, my livelihood for other people. And before we even talk about that, there's different types of leadership. Because the more favored in our society is servant leadership. And you can definitely be an autocratic leader where it's dictatorship. You can also be a laissez-faire leader where you don't care, you've been appointed, and it's transactional and it's a title, but you don't actually employ. And there's the participative leadership, where you're really involved and you're looking to develop people with you. Archie, can you hear me? I'm getting some feedback.
Yes, well, we can hear you. It seems that your voice seems to be breaking a bit, but we can still hear you. So go on. You go on and let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just to summarize, we're talking about the three types of leadership: autocratic, laissez-faire, and participative. And whether you should strive to be a leader. I think that question should be answered by each individual based on what your goal is.
Okay.
And in reality, creating something that is of value, that is not selfish.
Okay.
Leadership really comes from wanting to do something that goes beyond, wanting to make a change, going for a cause, going beyond the self. You know, that's what I do. So I think within my company, I really want to make people understand that between book A and book B, our product is the best.
Okay.
And I want to show that I genuinely want to help other. Then it's worth becoming a leader for, because you want to push this agenda and you care about it enough to be able to give up whatever it takes to make sure that people are. But having said that, there's nothing wrong with being a follower. Not everybody can be a leader. Not everybody should be a leader. You can be a follower, but a really good follower. Being a follower, again, shouldn't be the passive
follower.
Followership that we think it is. You know, right now social media has made it so that you click the follow button and
you are following.
You don't have to engage anymore, and That's it. Just serving support and you're adding to the number. That's the saying goes. Everything you do, you have to do it properly. Being a follower means I identify with this cause.
That's right. Okay. I think the last bit, what you said, the last bit, I didn't get you. So can you reiterate, please?
Yes. So being a follower is identifying with a particular cause that you're particularly interested in. It doesn't mean that you need to start your own, but if you're identifying with it, being active and participating in whatever that cause is, to be able to, one, be congruent and show everyone that this is what I believe in, to take a firm stance and to do something actively towards that cause, rather than either being passive or starting
Active participant. I like that. But listen to Star Radio UK Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallien all the way in Cyprus, coming your way every Monday at 12:45 to bring you Career 101. If you have any information, I mean, you have any lapses, or you're having a challenge when it comes to your career front, I mean, don't you worry at all. We will make sure she sees to address that for you. I mean, she is my cheerleader. She can be your cheerleader as well. But today we are looking at leadership and followership in your career. Leadership and followership. I want to say fellow. No, follow. So, okay, but we are talking about active participant, not just somebody who is going to be a passive one. But those of you who are religious, let me put it that way, if you read Habakkuk chapter 2, it is there. It says that the one who is going to be a leader should make the vision very clear. And those who see it, they decide, okay, I ascribe to this particular plan, and I will want to be part of it. And you get in there and you work, you make sure that we all together achieve that aim. But the question here that I wanted to put across to you quickly is, we talk about temperament. Okay, there are some temperaments that automatically make somebody a leader. I mean, you see them being very, very what do you call them, charismatic. So if can somebody be a leader, or should somebody be a leader when the person is not charismatic? He cannot actually try to, I mean, though the people, they might be like weak or maybe disappointed in a way, but you speak and the people just get up, come on, let's do something. Do you think if somebody's not got that means even their temperament, they don't have that traits in there, would they be able to be leaders?
Again, we need to play to our strengths. So if you identify that you're not particularly charismatic, or people don't resonate with you, you can still put someone who is the face that is the charisma, and still pull the strings from behind
the scenes. That's a good one.
We've lost the sense of tribe and teamwork. One person doesn't have to be all of it, all of the roles. You can have somebody who's the face of the movement, or the whatever the cause is that you've identified that you want to be a part of. And maybe if your talent is more working behind the scenes, creating the promotional materials, or crunching the numbers for it, you can join a movement where you can shine in your own right, but contributing towards that cause, rather than insisting on being the leader and therefore harming the cause because no one resonates with you. And sometimes we see that with the political parties, where they don't like the chosen leader, but they're that way inclined. I remember seeing this in some instances. So sometimes we just have to put people to play towards their strengths. And if back to careers, how it relates to you. I know a lot of people want to be leaders because you want to use it to build your own professional brand or personal brand. You want to build authority. You want to leverage or to to move to show seniority and supervisorship and go into management. But you can do that as a follower too. You can do, and I know you know how to do that as a leader, so I want to talk about followership. If you're writing articles, be active.
Linda, it seems that we are losing you. We can't hear you. Hello, Linda.
I'm here now.
Okay. Yes, please go on. We missed the last bit of what you were saying there. Please.
Yes. So if you're actively participating and supporting a cause, you can still use that to build authority, to show that you're part of this cause, to actually, it can be a benefit to you because you have an ally now within this cause. You are active and you're sharing information on LinkedIn or on your feed of whatever the cause is or whatever you believe. So, for example, if it's a reform of doctors and we're doctors that want to use this new drug or new method of work and incorporate naturopathy, and you're sharing articles and encouraging your patients that way, and your practice is different, you don't have to have been the person that invented that or even leading the movement within your region for it, but actively showing engagement in that will stand you in good stead to build yourself as an authority, to align yourself to the particular cause, and therefore to get the promotion, the marketing, and the branding that you deserve. And in the long run, command a higher fee, which is what you want to do to get a pay rise or to get a promotion and to get notoriety in that way. So you don't necessarily have to come to the question that we asked at the start. Can everybody be a leader? Yes. Should everybody be a leader? Not necessarily.
Okay. Interesting. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, HRH Linda Pallien coming your way with Career 101. And today we are asking or looking at leadership and followership in your career. Now, which one are you? Which one are you doing? Are you being a passive one or an active participant? Well, more on that front. We'll go back to Linda for more, and then there are a few areas, things that we'll be putting across during the course of the program. But over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. So with being a leader, there's lots of things that you can do to increase your reach and your followership. Some of it are ethical and some of it are questionable. Depending on, there really is no right or wrong. It depends on where you're standing or whose point of view you're considering.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Create your own reality. Set yourself as the only true way to be able to do this. And again, that comes from putting out propaganda and a lot of materials that will promote a particular cause. Make an increase in demand to be heard. To make it heard. Again, churning out stories, materials, press releases, whatever it is. And now, thanks to all the social media, we can put out our own press release. Join any conversation without being necessarily having a following of your own, or be celebrity. And then, of course, using your followers to recruit more people, more like-minded people. Again, that stands in good stead. And one of the things that is debatable, questionable, is keeping people so busy, your followers so busy that they don't have time for critical thoughts. So you don't want to give them enough time to question what you're doing.
Is that being a good leader?
Exactly. That's questionable. And I say it's good and bad at the same time. I mean, I'll give you an example of either. You have the cult leaders that ask people to move in the desert with them and cut time with family members. If you're part of the society, they're of the devil, they're whatever it is. You know, they're bad, they're the bad ones, we're the good ones, we're trying to save whatever. So you can isolate people in that way that you keep them busy enough not to question things. In the same way, we have loyalty cards and loyalty programs that businesses use. If you come to us and you collect these points, and you can get a free sandwich, or you get these loyalty points, get a credit card from this shop, and you shop here all the time, and you get, and this is a form of it, right?
Yeah.
But it's loyalty, but it keeps people not having to make that decision of, well, if I need to buy clothes, because I have a Marks and Spencer's card, I'm going to go to Marks and Spencer. So that's where it's good for the business.
Yeah.
It might be. So again, it's up to you. As an individual.
Oh, listeners, just bear with us. Linda, we've missed the last, call it the last 30 seconds. We've missed what you were saying there.
This is such a shame. This doesn't happen usually. I think we need to
we'll sort something out, God willing, next week. We'll sort something out, God willing, next week on that. Yeah, so please, what were you saying? Can you reiterate, please?
So I was talking about the good and bad of keeping everybody busy so that they don't have time for critical thought. And we spoke about it's bad because you can isolate people, but it's good because you can build loyalty, especially with loyalty cards.
Yeah.
It's good for the company because then you get returning customers. It's bad for the consumers because they don't get the freedom of choice.
Yeah.
Roped into one place. So again, it's up to you, the individual, to consciously participate in these things or not.
You have to come with a proper propaganda message to get people just thinking along the lines that you want.
Exactly. You really have to understand whether it serves or harms the cause that you want to perpetrate. And the final one, keep them fixated on the current. There's a small payoff here and a small payoff there. So maybe with I have a loyalty card actually.
Oh, okay.
Staring at me, my Cafanera loyalty card.
Okay.
In Cyprus. So with 9 cups of coffee, you get a free coffee, and it's just enough to keep you coming back for more. Should I go to Starbucks or to because not that I'm promoting any of these, but everyday example.
Yeah.
Keeping people fixated on the next payoff, or I need 10 points and I can have a free flight or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, decide if you've got leadership qualities, if you need to be a leader, or if you can be a good follower, and then act accordingly. But there's definitely chaos on either side. And not everybody should have to be a leader. You don't have to be an influencer. You could believe in something, and through your conviction. I mean, Jesus, if we use Jesus, he had 12 disciples. He didn't have to have 6 billion people following him to be relevant.
Yeah. Just needed only the 12, and then everything, they will bring more followers. So
sometimes death is better than just the reach for the reach's sake.
Yeah.
And this should encourage everyone who's trying to start a small business or make a difference in a way. If you can do it properly so that you build genuine, loyal followers that want to perpetuate your message, it's infinitely better than amassing passive followers.
There is this book that Frank likes talking about. Small is beautiful. You start from that front. Small is very, very beautiful. I mean, it's controllable. You are able to manage it nicely, and then it blows on to something very, very good. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, HRH Linda Pallien, bringing you Career 101, leadership and followership in your career. Which one are you? Are you a follower? Are you a leader? Do you want to be a leader? Should you be a leader? Those are questions that we've asked and tried to answer today for you. But we'll go to her for her closing remarks on that, and then she will tell you those books have you got it? Have you got your hands on them? I tell you, they are going like no man's business. People are using it and are benefiting from it. So why don't you also get your hands on it? After all, what is a bucket of KFC or something that will buy one for you? What about that? She's going to be telling you more on that. Over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. So again, if you want to progress in your career or in the business you've started or in the big business you're running, whatever it is, you have to understand that you should work towards your strengths, whether you'll make a good leader or whether you'll make a good follower, but understanding not to pick one for just the sake of it. Understand what's going to help the overall cause that I want to associate myself with. Is if it doesn't exist and you're the best person to create it, then create it. If it does exist, then be the best supporter you can be. Everybody loves good team members, right? And they get recognized because they're great team members, and you can be a key player or a key influencer within a community without necessarily feeling like you need to be a leader, you need to be the influencer by yourself. So understanding where ego comes in is very important. If you want to know more about this, I do share a lot about this, especially in the career books of how to brand yourself to build the authority you need, whether you're a leader or a follower, and sort of checklist within yourself to identify what your strengths are or what your course is. In the book, How to Career, the first C in the career acronym is course, and course is it's bigger than your why. If your course is the purpose for which you're working towards, and not just for your career, but for your life in general. What purpose you've identified you're working towards. So, for example, if you're an accountant, I want to help to increase accuracy in whatever I do, and therefore that's my course, and the career I've chosen is accountancy that works towards it. So if you want to know more, How to Career is a really good starting book for you. And then, of course, if you want to develop yourself and give yourself the promotion, pay rise, and credibility that you deserve, then Career Success is a great book for you to be able to deep delve, see the where you're leaving money on the table, the bits you're missing in terms of networking, what else you could be doing to increase your brand authority. And then, of course, there's the third book, which is the workbook, and that's a checklist for you to be able to fill in and identify the gaps, and also gift them to a friend as well, or someone who's looking to change careers or start on their career journey. As she said, these are £20, I think 15, depending on what deals Amazon is making at the moment. They're on Amazon, they're on Book Depository, they're Waterstones online. Get your hands on one of these. If you just Google Linda Pallien and then the career books, you'll be able to get your hand on one of them. 15 euros is a bucket of KFC and some change. And this will change your life.
Wow. Linda, let me say another wonderful thank you to you. But again, you've not put your contact details. Can you do that for us, please?
Absolutely. Definitely get in touch. LindaPallien.com. Linda Pallien, LindaPallien.com. Or my cheerleader. You can reach me on social media at my cheerleader, which is my cheerleader, but the leader is replaced with Linda because so my cheerleader or Linda Pallien as well on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you on LinkedIn as well. It's a very underrated platform, and we can do a lot of things through LinkedIn. So definitely contact me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. I'll be on there as my cheerleader or at Linda Pallien.
Thank you very, very much. But listeners, this broadcast or this discussion, yes, it's going to be live on the on our website in the next few moments. So go there and re-listen to it. They are all podcasts from Starr Radio UK. So on that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in today, listening to us. It's been a pleasure coming your way. And I will bow out with this song, a repeat of the one that I brought before we joined Linda in Cyprus, and that is Use the Ballot Box. As I did say earlier on, well, we got the, what do we call them? The okay, we got the Senegalese going for elections, and they've seem to have been chosen Osman Sonko's protege, who is in the lead at the moment. But we'll have to all stay calmly until everyone, those who want to congratulate each other so that we don't take or move ahead and cause any clashes or anything of the sort. But on that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in. JKIA terminal reopened after morning fire incident. Which part is it? That is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Terminal 1E has resumed operation after temporary closure due to a fire incident. So that is for your information. That is for your information there. And then whilst we go, some of the headlines: 4 in court as Moscow attack death to nears 140, and 2 guilty of Cody Fisher nightclub stabbing. Review into Northern Arm Killers manslaughter pleas to be published, and Boeing chief executive to leave at end of 2024. Those are some of the news stories making the rounds. So on that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure coming your way. Until I come your way tomorrow as well. Well, on these Easter festivities, getting your way into the Easter. What about that? Let me say bye-bye for now, and see you all on the morrow. Zongoman says, use the ballot box.
The ballot box.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Go to the polling station.
Thanks for listening.
Go to the polling station and give them a bloody news. One man, one vote. It is your right. If you have a vote, you've got power. So every man have a vote. Every woman have a vote. Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody news. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody news. Take no lies, take no bribes, take no promises, take no sting, take no sound bites, no slogan shouting. Use the ballot box. Use the ballot box. Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody news. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody news. box.
Use the ballot box.
Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Register to vote so that you can vote.
Vote.
Vote for no wolves to care for sheep.
Vote.
Vote for people who care for you. Use the ballot box.
Use the ballot box.
Use your vote. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Go to the polling station and give them a bloody nose. Use the ballot box.
Use the ballot box.
Use your